So, good evening, everybody. Right. So, I'm all alone. I've had a message from Horlicks to say, long story short, start the message. Um, I'm trying to get hold of our guest as well, who's having problems at the moment, but that's often happens when people do it for the first time. Right, sorry, I've just lost track of everything. Right, so most important thing right now, if we got any Middlesbrough fans here, Newport, sorry. The game last night, if you're an FA Cup fan, you might have noticed the result yesterday. Sorry, so happy at that. Right, so we are obviously here to, hang on. Sorry, this is I've just literally rushed in. I had an incident yesterday where I'd pulled into the bus station, and cut a long story short, I got threatened by a manager from a different bus company. So I've reported it to my manager and I've reported it to the police, and I had to do a statement today, which is why I'm late. So let me just I'm trying to get for any of you that have come on the show, sometimes we don't know why, but sometimes clicking the link doesn't work. So I've just got to get an email sent out and hopefully we'll have the guest. Right. So I'm really, really sorry. I'm just so badly ill. This is going to be the worst show I've ever done in my whole life. So we are here to do issue 51. Let me just catch up on the chat. And there's rather a lot of chat, and hopefully that'll get other people chances to catch up. So Love Minis, thank you very much. Welcome all and press the thumbs up button. Hello, Love Minis from Adrian Langley. Hello to Steve Graham, Fleetwood J, Roger Kendall, Kevin Gresham. If you're a first-time viewer, this isn't normally this badly organised. It's usually a lot better than this. We usually have a bit of a laugh at the beginning, get on with the build, and then have more of a laugh later on. So hi, Steve Gresham. Hi, Steve Lee. Hope you all had a good work. Look forward to tonight's build. Dave Milne, hello. Kevin Gresham, Dave Mill. Dave Say, hello, Dave Say. Roger Kendall, Chris Campling, Daniel Simpson, Paul 61C70, Dave Mill, Adrian Langley, Graham Prestwood. Daniel Simpson. If I missed anyone, I do apologise. Stephen Hyson. Does anyone in the room subscribe? Hachette said my new issues have been dispatched on the 21st. Still haven't got them. Steve, I subscribe as well. And my copies quite literally come anything between 1 and 3 weeks after they say they've dispatched. They say to me this week that it's been dispatched on the 25th of January. I have got a parcel where I missed the postman Saturday, so I won't know until tomorrow if it's my Routemasters. But yeah, they do quite literally take anything. 2 weeks is an average. So Danielson says looking forward to the second one. Fleetwood J, then me. Hi Fleetwood. Okay, cool. Thanks. It's hard to tell when they're due to arrive. They even tried to charge me twice. Yet the new issues hadn't arrived. Good evening. No hurry. Johnson Hazel. The internet's not connecting to my channel. Don't know why. So yeah, Horlicks is coming. All I know is he said, long story short, start the show without me. I'll be in there in about 10 minutes. So yeah, that's it. So I'm going to muddle along without him. Obviously, you know, it's never the same show without Horlicks. Now, I understand that this isn't going to be the best issue we've ever done. It looks like it's going to be an important issue. But obviously, you know, we always say it's a marathon, not a sprint. And the other thing I've said, if you remember, we got that figure for Christmas, and I did actually say, I think I'm the wrong way round. Yeah, no, that's right. I've said what I'm going to start doing now is judging it based on 2 issues. So this week I'm looking at 50 and 51, and I think it looks like we've still got pretty good value. And then next week, obviously, I'll look at 51 and 52. So if it's a good issue next week, I don't mind this one being a slower one. But yeah, let's have a look. And we'll see what we can do with this. So there's my little bag of goodies. God, it feels so weird doing it this way. I've got so used to Horlicks. So tip everything straight into the tray. And then this goes somewhere safe. So now these feel like they're all plastic parts. Oh no, these little brackets are metal. So they're little hinges. So, and then we've got some DP and AP screws. So let's have a little check on the parts. So we've got 51A is the indicator box lid. And I can see that that's printed on there. That's not anything behind it. Would we say that's disappointing, or are we happy with that? Indicator 51B is the indicator box, which is this piece. So I'm going to assume that that's going to go into there somehow. And that's plastic. Nice finish. A lot of the plastic parts are painted to look like metal, and they do a good job in all fairness. 51C is the control handle. Now, I do recall seeing a post that someone's had broken on this, and it does look very, very fragile, as you can see. 51B is 51D is 2 hinges, and these do look identical. And these are very similar in feel. I don't know if you remember the little panels from the little vents on the front of the bus. Obviously different shape, but same kind of principle. Oh, I've just heard someone come in. So that looks like we are being joined by Fleetwood J. Can you hear us, Fleetwood J? No, he's on mute at the moment. Okay, I'll carry on till he gets sorted. And then we've got a packet of AP screws. There should be 7 in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And these are 1.5 by 3mm screws. And obviously, you know, I do like to put my screws into the little box so that I don't lose them. Yeah, oh no, Fleetwood's gone. Okay, so it looks like the guest that we've got scheduled may or may not come, but we had problems last week, didn't we? So right, and lastly, we've got some DP screws, which are pretty much the same screws, but they're a millimeter longer, 1.7 by 4 mil, and there's 3 of those, so we're obviously only going to use the 2. So they will go into there. Oh, I'm having a bit of a struggle there. Right, so that's my screws popped away. So they should be nice and safe. So let's crack on with the build then. So got the screwdriver ready. So, I see there's 3 stages to the instructions. And lots of finished views. Okay, so stage 1. So we need to open the hinges so that they are in the orientation shown in the magazine, and that will be that orientation. I'm on autofocus again, aren't I? So both of those are like that. Identify the fixing points on the indicator box, 51A. Have I done that? Oh no, this is the indicator box. So they're going to go on the back. So, and they're going to be fixed on with AP screws, which are going to go in like that. Now, They don't look like there's a way to fix them so that they stay, but obviously we'll have a look at how they go when we screw them in. And let's have a look at the best part. Now, Johnson Hazel did bring a very good point up last week. He asked me what screwdriver bits I'm using, and I didn't think to tell you at the time, so I'm going to try and remember. Now we have a face. Is that Fleetwood J?
It is. Hi,
Okay.
Penny.
As we haven't actually started the build, I'm going to pause it now and I'm going to say hello to Fleetwood J. So many of you may know Fleetwood J as the man who does the absolutely fantastic dioramas. So here he is. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, Penny. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I've been very busy today, but I'm glad that the day is starting to finish. So
Good.
I'm looking at all your signs on the wall.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, and your T-shirt.
Yeah, it's Blakey.
Yes, my hero. Well, if I get this promotion at work, I will actually be Inspector Blakey.
That'd be cool.
That would be awesome. So, do you want to tell us a little bit? I know I caught you on the hop. Do you want me? Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, as you say, well, my name gives it away where I am. So, yeah, basically, this is probably my third part work that I've done. The first two were the Spitfire and James Bond, but they were ages away.
Yeah.
I vowed never to do another part work again. I got my fingers burnt, and then come along the Routemasters, and come Christmas, I had a tricky time with a diorama over Christmas. Nearly launched it out the window because I lost faith in it.
If you're not nearly launching it out the window, you're not doing it right.
No, but I hung in there and I managed to do it, and that's what I've got now.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, and it just gets better every week. So,
Yeah.
So how long have you been modeling them? Because obviously, looking at it, you haven't just started 5 minutes ago.
I have.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Honestly?
Well, apart from the James Bond, I did light touch-ups and a bit of leathering, but never as much as doing what I've done on the diorama here. This is all crash course. You know, quick YouTube videos with yourself on how to do some painting and various other people. That's all I've ever done. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
So learn by my mistakes.
But you haven't made any mistakes to learn from.
Well, I have. You haven't seen them. That's the thing.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Yes. Yeah. Oh, Vlad. No, that's absolutely amazing. So I've got to ask the question. I'm sure someone's going to ask this if I don't. Of the three builds, which one do you think is the better one?
The Routemaster by far.
Ah, that's what we like to hear, isn't it? Fleetwood needs to come on the show more often than Dave say. There you go. We've booked you in from now until eternity.
Oh, crikey. Thank you, everyone, anyway.
Yeah, not a problem. It's lovely to see you. So, obviously, because we haven't got Horlicks at the moment, we're doing a slightly different format, which is me struggling along with the magazine. It feels so strange. I actually got used to Horlicks barking instructions in my ear, and it does actually make it quite simple because I've got my magazine just out of sight, which I've got view of, and him telling me what to do. And between the two, it's making the job so much easier. I've got my magazine just out of sight. Is that you?
Yeah, it's me. It's my
your volume on.
Yeah, it's just my phone just decided to kick in at the same time, if you know what I mean.
Bless. Right, so is it all right if I just carry on, or do you want to chat a bit more? Yeah. Okay, so what the part we were up to is we're going to get the indicator box, which we're going to get the hinges, and we've got them kind of going downwards, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we're just going to screw them in with two.
Hello,
Horlicks. Do we have to do it? I'm not going to get this stage done, am I? So everybody, here is Horlicks.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late.
How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, not too bad. Just a bit of drama going on, but it's all good.
We love a bit of drama. We'll come back to that one later on.
So yeah, hello everyone. How is everyone? I'm late for the party, but I'm here now.
So yeah, better late than never.
Yeah.
we've kind of not actually done anything on stage 1. Do you want to take over, or?
Yeah, can do. Have you
Okay,
gone through the parts?
I feel so. I've gone through all the parts. All of the parts are plastic, except for obviously the screws and these 2 little hinges. If you could see them okay there.
Oh yeah.
And these are pretty much, these remind me, apart from being a different shape, these reminds me of the little flaps that go at the front on the cockpit where you lift them up for the air vents. I don't know if you remember those. I'm desperately trying to avoid picking the bus up because it's rather heavy. So same kind of principle, obviously, but we're dealing with different shapes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to screw those into there like so. And the only problem I've found so far is that there's no like locating pins or anything. They may lock in once you screw them in, but that's something I'm being wary of. So I might as well crack on with that bit now then.
Yeah.
So I was saying also that Johnson Hazel asked me about the screw bits, which I didn't mention last week, and I'm actually going to go with a J0 on this one. I may change. We'll see how we get on, but that one feels like it's going to be the one. So I think the way I'll do this is I'll put the screw through and then marry it up to the little what do you call it, indicator box. And in actual fact, that's not a good screw bit to use, so I'm going to change that. I'm going to try my J1 then. There we go. So I'm going to switch to the J1. So apologies for that. Oh, and that's much better. Sometimes it feels right, but it doesn't actually work too well. So I'm using the J1 screwdriver bit. So I'm just making sure that that's straight. Because it's a hinge, I'm assuming that if I put it in an angle, it's not going to fit onto the other side properly. But I think it kind of rests. There you go. It does actually lock in. You've got 2 little lines down the side, little raised bits, and that locks that in nicely. So I'll go straight in with the next one. Oh, my mouth's gone. But, I haven't even made a cup of coffee today. That's how dedicated I am to the show. I come straight in. So what was that? Is that the world's smallest violin? I can...
Yeah, I'm just doing it now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear that.
It is playing the world's best song, isn't it?
You know what? I haven't had much tea. I've literally, as Chris Campion's just said to me, no, Paul, sorry, that yellow mug sucks. I know. I just haven't been. I've just not organised. I've had to put it in a boring yellow mug.
Oh, how bad is that? So I've done a bit of a Horlicks when I've assembled these, and I've kind of screwed it a little bit, and then I've checked it, and then I've screwed a bit more, and then I've checked it again to make sure that they do remain within there. But once they're in, they lock in really nicely. So I'm confident that that's a really good fit. And then, as you see, there's a little hinge there for it. So, would you like the honours with doing stage 2?
2? Yeah, okay.
I will apologise in advance, Fleetwood. The second guest tends to be a little bit left out here while we build. But then, obviously, we'll bring you in properly later on.
No worries.
Okay, so... See, this is all alien to me because I don't even know what was in the issue.
Right. Do you want me to go through what's in the issue?
No, it's all right. I can just read it. I'll look while you're building. I'll flick back a page and have a little look.
Okay.
Okay. So locate the canopy box lid 51A on the front of the canopy box 51B, so that the free flange of the hinges 51D align with the underside of the box. Fix the hinges in place with 4 APs.
You've gone quiet, Horlicks.
Oh, have I?
Yeah. You're back again now.
Fix the hinges in place with 4 AP screws. Fit the control handle 51C in the socket in the side of the box 51B, and this is a push fit connection.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to kind of just backtrack a little bit. I'm now going to demonstrate why Horlicks is so awesome on this show. Does anybody notice the deliberate mistake there? I've actually put those hinges on upside down. So wouldn't have happened if Horlicks had been here doing it at the beginning, would it?
Yeah, no,
I'm not saying it's your fault.
No.
I'm saying the show was better with you.
How long have you been on there? It can't have been that long.
10 minutes?
10 minutes or so, yeah.
20 minutes. Now it's very awkward. So I think we're going to need to place this down somewhere. So obviously now I've got to be a bit careful because I've already screwed those screws into that hole. All right. So yeah, the reason the way I spotted this. So again, I'm doing a Horlicks and checking at every stage. You might be calling that a Horlicks.
No.
It is a compliment. So when I pop these in, obviously I lined them up like that. And then I noticed that this doesn't seem to sit in the box very well. So then I looked again and I noticed it's upside down. And then I can now see that that will line up fairly perfectly. So I'll remove this one. So once I've done this, I'll try and do a little close-up for you so that you can see the correct way to put it. But I even did hold it like this. But whereas I said it needs to go down, it actually needs to go up. So that's probably the best way. If you lay this down on a flat surface, you'll be able to lay the hinge on like that. If you had the hinge upside down, you can see that it's not going to lay flat. So there you go, stage one, boo-boo.
Mind you, I did a little boo-boo on Monday of my latest issue of the Routemasters, didn't I?
Do you know, I can't remember now.
Oh, charming.
Well, I've had so much going on. That's my excuse.
Yeah,
I'm sticking to it.
No, it wasn't anything major, but I tightened up all the brackets up and I should have left them loose.
Right. Okay, so right, I'm now back to where stage one should have been. And so we now need to get some more AP screws ready. And this will go on like that. And it looks to me like this hinge goes on the outside of the box and is then screwed down. Now, as a test fit, that fits rather nicely. I'm quite happy with that. So let's get my 4 APs ready. So we know we'll stick with the same bit that we had before because it's the same screw. So we can kind of assume the same screwdriver bit. And I think I will go for the just enough to bite method. So pop the first one in. And then I'll pop another one on the other side. Now that one is biting a little bit harder. So we were saying that we can't change this number. It's fixed. It's not going to be illuminated or anything. I think we're possibly a little bit disappointed.
I was under the impression we could change them.
Yeah, movable blinds. Now, if the front blinds are movable and this one isn't, then you're going to have two sets of blinds that aren't going to match. And did I also read somewhere about disappointed to have these screws on show? Or were they? Oh, it was you said that, was it?
Yeah.
Do they actually show?
Yeah, they do look a bit big for what they are.
Oh, that's a shame then. I think that's one thing, if anything, that's letting this down, isn't it? There seems to be screws showing. I know it's really hard to hide all of the screws, but some of the screws that are on show are really on show.
Even if they just color coded them, it might be a bit better.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be the first time we got red screws. I can see why this is movable now. So I'm guessing we were going to attach that to something. So there's my number. Now this is the bit I'm worried about. And that's the handle. A push fit connection. Now, yeah, I don't like that. Oh no, that's gone in. That's gone in. Oh, don't like this. You've got to push it hard, but you've got to keep it level. That is exactly as I wanted it. Right, so I don't think that handle's gone in fully, but that is such a small connection. That's probably less than a millimeter across. And you've got to push it. If you push it at an angle, it's going to snap. So you've got to kind of push it. You've got to put the pressure there. And so I've just pushed it as far as I can, but I've left enough clearance that I can still open that. Yeah.
I see.
So
yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I want to push this in further, but yeah, I'm too scared to. Yeah, I'm really not going to push that any further. It's in. It's got a handle, and there is a handle there, and it's not broken off. So I'm going to stick with it there. So yeah, I'm going to say I'm happy with stage 2.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. It was so fragile, isn't it?
It's just, I've seen a picture in Facebook that's broken. So I've had advance notice. But I just feel if I push that a bit too much, I've only got to slip slightly and that's going to snap off. And I could probably glue it. Maybe the answer is just to drill a little bigger hole in there. But then if I drill a hole that's too big, that's not going to stay in. And then we're going to have to use Loctite then, won't we?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with, almost perfect. Good enough. How's that?
Yeah.
Right. So the next stage then.
Okay. So stage 3. With the indicator box lid open, align the indicator box 51B with the fixing points on the front wall 48A. Fix in place with 2 DP screws.
Right. Okay, I'm just going to have to disappear for half a second then and just get the front wall. I will be 2 seconds.
I see you showing off your diorama there, Fleetwood.
Yeah, I thought I'd bring it in and just put it by the side.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. The amount of times I've looked at that picture over and over again you put on Facebook, it's absolutely stunning.
That is amazing, isn't it?
Maybe later what I'll do is I'll get my webcam off and I'll try and do a shot along the bus.
That would be an absolute treat.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've got questions about that later. Yeah. Okay,
so I've got my front wall. It took me a little bit longer because it fits so well with the side walls. It was actually difficult to pull out. Right, so this has got 2 holes and a locating peg. So you can see you've got 3 holes there, 2 holes where they screw in and a locating peg. So it's going to be ever so simple to get it into place. She says not being able to get it into place. And that's why I want to make sure that came down. I would suggest that that only moves down so that you can get at the screw holes. So let's check that this is a good screw. Yeah, I'm going to use the same bit. And pop that in just enough to grab. So that's now not going anywhere.
Oh, maybe you could use that as a little storage box or something.
Well, I did make a comment on Facebook. I said you can get the entire contents of a packet of Walker's crisps in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, by today's standards.
Yeah. Do you remember when getting a whole packet of crisps in between 2 bits of bread to make a sandwich was actually a challenge?
Yeah.
You used to have to use salad cream as cement, didn't you? And then switch it down and then put some more in. Now it's not a challenge at all. Right. Okay. So that is the entire issue done. I'm okay with that issue because I don't know what's coming next week. And it was a good issue last week, but I'm going to put it out to the audience. What do you think of that build? Do we want to rate it on the one issue? Do we want to rate it as part of the whole build? Do we appreciate a quick one, perhaps? You know, if you're a subscriber and you get 4 issues come, do you appreciate a quick one and then some longer ones?
I know I do personally. Depending on obviously what's before and after. I mean, I think if all 4 issues, if I got all 4 issues come through and they were all very small like that, I think I would feel a bit cheated.
I think if I did the whole month's issues in 20 minutes, I'd probably feel a little bit robbed. But yeah. So what do you think, Fleetwood?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have slow issues. You're going to have massive issues. So you got to take the rough with the smooth, if you know.
Yeah.
And I'm already thinking, could I mod it and put like an SMD LED behind it?
I was thinking that this afternoon, but obviously I hadn't seen the piece because I was thinking maybe we could remove that and then put something, maybe 3D print something, maybe 3D print a box. But now that I've seen it, it's going to be a lot harder. I mean, I'm very happy to have my model as the number 11 as it rolls off the production line. I know some people want to put they want to mod theirs. So yeah, but no, I'm sure we'll think of something between us. Steve Lee says that as a subscriber, he doesn't mind an easy one as long as the others are a bit challenging. And Dave Say says we all appreciate a quick one. So Dave Say likes a quickie.
Right.
Okay. So shall we have a look at next week's?
Okay, so yeah, this is, let me zoom in a little bit.
I don't know if I'm going to speculate on this one because I was almost right about this one. I thought that was going to be a short issue, but I thought we were going to do more with it. The question I've got really is, why could we not have attached this wall to something?
Yeah.
Could they not have given us another bag of screws and we screw this to the side walls and then screw it to the walls and then screw the floor down? So that's the only thing. It might become clearer later on, but so this is the picture we've got of next week, and I'll just catch up. And the description says the inner panel of the front wall, together with accessories, is fitted to the front of the lower deck. So that obviously means that. Let's have a. I'm gonna flick between the two. So that's the passenger side of the front wall, and that's the picture. We can see we've already got those seats are in. So obviously there's going to be a front inner skin going in.
Yeah. You got that cream bit, haven't you, at the top? Then
Yeah.
you've got the grey bit underneath, or the silver.
Yeah.
Then you've got the grab rails, and then it looks like that red piece underneath. That's got a raised part in the middle. So
that's where the heater is. So you got the heater control at the top. That's what that black slot is, I think.
right.
So it looks like we could have a very good issue next week then.
Then I suppose it depends whether that's all going to be one piece, or if those grab rails are going to be individual, or
well, I would imagine they're individual. I think they'll be attached with 2 small screws. I can see, if you look at the top left and the top right, you can see the part of the wall that we've already got, the one that we've just put the destination on. And then looking at that, there's various screw holes. So you can see where perhaps it's going to screw in. So yeah, I think it's looking like it might be a good issue. I'm quietly confident. What do you think, Fleetwood? And what do you think, audience?
Yeah, it looks right. It's going to certainly make the bus a bit better. See what happens next week, really.
Yeah. So accessories probably means the grab handles and maybe 1 or 2 other little bits. I think that picture confirms to me that we're not going to do anything with those seats because those screws are on show. But I can't see any screws on that wall. So that could be interesting. How are we attaching the inner skin with this piece?
Well, you've got the mounted screw holes there, haven't you? Because there's possibly, I don't know.
Well, it could theoretically be a push-fit connection. Theoretically.
Yeah.
True.
So Paul has just answered our question, why can't we attach this, by saying the grab handles would be difficult to attach if the front bulkhead was fitted first. So that now does explain why, obviously, if we fitted this to the bus, we then can't get the grab rails in and screw it from the inside. So yeah, it's lots to speculate about.
I mean, the only thing I speculate, obviously, the only reason my theory behind the grab rails is like wondering if they're going to be screwed, is because if you actually look at the image in the magazine, I know that it's not terribly accurate, but where the grab rails are, they're sort of in from the edge of the windows.
Yeah.
But when you look at the actual piece you've got there is no holes in from the windows. You've got the 2 on the very outside of the windows at the bottom there, but they look too far apart.
Well, I'm thinking a big piece is going to go over there. So we're going to take the piece, we're going to put the grab rails on.
Oh, I see.
Onto this.
Yeah, sorry, I know what you mean now. Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't see any screw holes on it. So, and I can't see any screw holes on here from this side. So maybe, I don't know. It's just going to be really interesting to find out.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll soon find out.
Yeah, that's going to be quite exciting. So I've completely forgotten my agenda. So let's. Are you ready to show off, Fleetwood?
I can do that. I can see if I can do a video tour.
Lovely. Can I be really, really rude? And as you talk, I just run and make a coffee because my mouth. I was going to carry on through without coffee, but as you can probably tell from my voice, I'm really, really parched.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put. Oh, I can't. Can I? Okay. Right, I'll be as quick as I can. You carry on without me.
Right. So this is try and get my webcam working right. Well, so this is probably try and get the best parts. There's my pigeons that Horlicks keeps liking, and then obviously I've got my rubbish in the bin, and then I've got my my boy character Billy and his dog Gypsy. There is a bag of rock. I'll try and get it in by his feet. That's a reference to Blackpool. And then I'll try and zoom over the top of my bus. I've got a copy of the Dandy. And someone's left a half-eaten chocolate bar on the seat. There is some coins on the seat there. Somebody else has left a brolly in the newspaper.
Oh wow.
And then somebody else has left a Coke bottle with a shilling on the seat. And then there's my Mr. Grey, the Hachette one that I painted as well. And then I managed to, with Samuel, I did a transfer of a 1966 newspaper and I put it on front of that. So it sort of blends in because my diorama is all about 1966. So that's him.
Absolutely amazing.
Then I got his little suitcase. I managed to put some travel stickers on there the other day. And then I got my other one that's Freddie and then Mr. Hachette himself. So then I made myself a briefcase to go with the Mr. Hachette there. So that's my diorama really. You know what I mean? So apart from the letterbox and the lamppost I've got, you know, there'll be more to come later on, if you know what I mean. Actually, I don't know if it's here. I had a joke. Oh, I put some fish and chips underneath the engine bay.
Oh, yeah, that's brilliant.
So, but you know, that's it really. You know what I mean? I just take things along. But I have added, and a lot of people have asked me on Facebook for the posters that I put in the bus there, and there should be one there as well that I've made to go there. So that's the diorama really in its colour. You know what I mean? I did have a plaque made, so
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. So where that is what is the paving made out of?
it's actually plaster of Paris, doll's house, roof tiles.
All right.
I found them on eBay. There was a guy saying 150 for £3, so I bought 2 lots, and the shelf, the wood bit underneath, is actually a shelf from Klaus Alsen, one of their big wood shelves they do. I've just cut it down to size. PVA glued the felt down so it looks like the road. Then I just glued the roof tiles on top of the shelf with PVA glue from Poundland. That seems to stick anything, if you know what I mean. So, and then I just painted it.
Amazing.
Ah.
That is absolutely amazing. I actually had the volume up and I was listening to you and I kept rushing back in and going, oh, let's have a look. Things like your coins and things, it's those tiny details.
Yeah.
But funny enough, what I noticed is one of my moans was that the little chappie with the pipe that we got in issue 46,
Yeah.
I was complaining about his feet being rather large.
Yeah.
But seeing yours in the diorama, with everything else going on, it doesn't really seem like he's got massive feet now.
No, I think the black accents it, as with the grey one. His feet look a lot smaller where they're brown shoes rather than black. So, you know, it's an optical illusion, I think.
It's just stunning, isn't it? I could just sit and look at that all day.
I love but well, I just love all of it. If I identified anything in particular, it's almost as though I'm saying this other bit isn't good, but it's
no, the whole thing.
The bus stop, because you shared some files as well, didn't you, on the Facebook?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
I'm going to
be so
yeah. I'm going to be scanning the magazines in, and I'm going to scale them down so that if anybody wants to put the posters in their bus, they'll be able to.
Cool.
That's ever so simple. That's just scan it in, and then obviously the magazine is A4, and then what I'll do is I'll reduce it down to, I think it's 8%, which works out a 1 to 12 scale.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I'll just print them off on thin paper, on a really good quality, obviously, because obviously it's not going to look good if it's not a good quality. But yeah, what people are doing is absolutely amazing. As you can probably see in the background, I still haven't finished my room, so I might just have to do some manipulation with my camera. But the good news is I have actually managed to get my 3D printer working. So and I've printed. What did I print off the other day? Oh, I did a Hanoi Towers thingy the other day.
Oh, did that come out all right?
Yeah, eventually. I also did a travel one, and you get like little sides of a box and it all folds up, but the hinges aren't fitting properly. And then today I've finally done this. I've got a cigarette case, but it hasn't been coming out very good. And what you do is I haven't got. Yes, I have. No, I haven't. You get this isn't a clipper lighter, but if you get a clipper lighter, you can push that into there. And this case, you can put like 7 cigarettes in there, and then what you then do is you get the little case and you close the cigarette case with the lighter, and it will slide in like that. And I've been trying so hard, and I tried it today with some ports, and it's finally worked. So it's needed supports. So how I'm going to get the supports out from inside there, I do not know, but we'll give it a go. So yeah, but I've been printing with no hairspray, and it's been absolutely amazing. And then all of a sudden it's.
Have you still got your shiny bottom?
No, I've got no shiny bottoms now. Well, they're shiny-ish, but it's hairspray bottom now. So, but I'd rather have hairspray bottom than not printing at all, because it was just it was driving me mad.
Yeah.
So and then this is the tool holder that I did for Chris. So that's come out brilliant. Really happy with that. And this was actually done in a very low quality, actually, so it was done a lot quicker.
We've got matching ones, haven't we? Because mine's bright yellow.
Well, mine's purple, because purple is the best colour in the world, bar none. And oh, I'm sorry, I got to say this. I got told off. Apparently, these aren't good footwear for bus driving, so I got told off by my manager. So I had to go and buy some new boots. So I bought these today, and I love them. They're it's like walking around in concrete blocks, but with padding inside.
Yeah.
Can't bend your feet in them.
I've seen those boots, the same ones. Someone at work wanted them because they're obviously safety boots, but because they had pink on them.
Yeah, well, people commented on them being pink, so I've told everyone that it's a side impact protection system. It's plastic, but
yeah, but if they believe that, they believe anything.
Well, we're talking with bus drivers here, but people have been saying, "Well, they're not safety boots," and I'm like, "Aren't they?" So, yeah, they're brilliant. I like them, and I got them from Sports Direct, £28, which I thought was not too bad actually. So I was happy enough with that. So, right, I have got really big news for everybody. During the week, Thursday was it? I released a video about my bass, which I want to try. Oh, there we go. We can see. I don't know if you can see it up there. Absolutely beautiful bass. I think Horlicks, you featured yours now on your latest video, haven't you?
Yeah, with the voiceover, because I put my chassis down on the floor. I got really excited about getting the bass out. And I've got my headphones, you can't see it, it's got like a little junction box for the stupid little mini tiny USB that goes into it, and it just falls out. So I didn't realise. So it wasn't as good as I remember it was when I filmed it. But
can I be honest with you? If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known.
That's very kind, but you don't have to lie.
No, I'm not. Honestly, listen, guys, if anyone's watched Horlicks build, He's saying that the sound went. He's done a voiceover. Did anybody actually know that before tonight? And be honest. So, but oh, sorry, I've just had a message saying send some money to your eBay purchase. Yeah, I've been mad on eBay. Right, so I have had a word with the person who made the base, and he may be prepared to make them. The problem we've got at the moment is the postage cost. There you go. Love Minis said no. And you know for a fact that Love Minis is brutally honest. Chris, why do I need safety boots? Because bus driving is a very dangerous job. And the old ladies, they come along with their shopping trolleys and they run over your feet. No, it's just we work in an oily, wet, dangerous environment. And obviously, the company has a responsibility to tell us to wear safety equipment. So, yeah, so the guy who's made the bases may be interested in making more of them. The more that he makes, the cheaper they will be, because obviously he can buy the materials in bulk. Now, he told me that the ones that he posted to myself and Horlicks were £15 postage. And obviously, £15 plus the cost is going to be quite a lot of money. I think it's worth that money, but it's a lot of money. So we're going to look at ways to try and bring the cost down. So if I say, I don't know how much it's going to cost, but let's say the starting price is £25. Are people now interested in a base like that for that much? Is that too much? You know, let's have a look. I mean, Hermes might be a good option, or I know they're not my favorite couriers, but they do the job, don't they?
It's tracked as well, so
it's tracked as well. So, I mean, to be honest with you, as you know from last week, Hermes is my preferred courier over Parcel Force. It was a nightmare. But Hermes, because Hermes tend to be paid by the drop, so they're quite keen to get rid of the parcel. So if you're not in and then the next day you leave a note saying leave safe, they get rid of it. But my Hermes, I know that we could be talking about £5 postage. Well, that's cut 10 quid off the cost of the base, so which I think is a considerable saving. So I'm going to guess that that's. I mean, what do you two guys think? 25 quid, 20 quid, 15 for that base?
not bad. I mean, I think my Hermes for up to 15 kg is around £8 to £9. I think, but
Right.
that's tracked. You know, so
which is
I
a
mean,
big saving on 15, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean 15 or even 20 because the craftsmanship
Yeah.
that's gone in is really nice. I mean, what I've seen of yours and Horlicks, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it'll look so much nicer once I treat it, and he has said to treat it as soon as you can, because obviously right at the moment it's bare wood and it's going to absorb everything.
Sort of why I was asking Fleetwood, because I really don't know what to do. I'm in two minds whether to leave it as it is, like you're gonna do, and sort of stain it or wax it or whatever you're gonna do, or I thought like a cobbled street on the top.
Yeah.
Like a bit like what Fleetwood's done. But the problem
when I looked at yours last week, I was making suggestions that decorating the base in some way would be really nice. But I only saw yours on video. Now that I've seen mine in real life, I'm just thinking the beauty is just in the bare wood.
Yeah.
So, but I'm doing 2 builds, so.
Well, that's the problem, because I want to keep the woods, but if I put like the tarmac on the top, or the cobbles, or decorate the top of it, I'm going to have a lip, because obviously they're going to stick up. So then I think that's going to ruin it.
Right.
So I'm thinking, yeah, maybe varnish, or I mean, I don't really know much about wood, but I assume I just slap.
What about if you got a piece of plastic card and cut that to shape? and then put the cobblestones on the plasticard and then placed it over. If you then go, oh, I don't like that, you can then take it off.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I suppose I could do it and then have it removable permanently. So
right. So it looks like we've got 2 orders for him. Paul 61 has said, I only use my Hermes. I'll have 2, please. So maybe I should add a couple of quid on for myself for commission. Chris, as you can see, by asking me what's in the box, you'll have to be slightly more specific. Most of those boxes are empty. So am I? Oh, I thought that was falling off. That's okay. Right. So, I've forgotten what else we were going to do. So that was my important announcement. I've told you roughly about. Yeah, I got to tell you this. This guy at the bus station. I'm going to say, even though it's technically an ongoing investigation, I pull into the bus station and there's a stagecoach bus at one of the stands, and he's indicating right. So I'm assuming he's pulling off. So I sat and waited, and after about 20 seconds, I established he's probably just left his indicator on. So I carry on going. As I pull up beside him, I give him a couple of peeps, and I go like this to tell him he's left his indicator on. So I see this other guy does that at me. Don't know why it upset me. It normally doesn't, because normally people in Newport are terrible drivers. So I pull in on the stand, and I actually get out of my bus and I say, I'm not a wanker. I'm trying to tell that driver to turn his indicator off, or that he's got his indicator on. Well, this guy comes rushing over, announces himself as the health and safety manager, makes contact with me, not hard. So I say to him, I go, oh, that's assault. And he's like, oh, I don't get. And he goes, you don't get to make demands on our drivers. And I'm like, what are you on about? And he goes, if you do that again, I'll split your face in two. And I'm thinking, well, that's not very health and safety, is it? So, but cut a long story short, I've gone to the police about it, because I don't think that kind of behaviour is acceptable.
No, it's not.
And I was just kind of really shocked by it. But what was funny was I told someone from the union, and he said, oh, was it so-and-so, so-and-so? I went, yeah. And he goes, yeah, he's a nasty piece of work. So this guy's well known. And I've got a new role in the union. I'm going up this ladder. I'm being put forward for a position where I'll be representing my company, and I'll be required to go to a meeting once a quarter where I'll get the day off work. The company aren't obliged to pay me, but my loss of earnings, I can claim that from the union. I'll get travel allowance and I'll get meal allowance. And sometimes they hold the meetings a little bit more towards North Wales to give everyone a chance of equal travel. And if that's the case, I'll have to have an overnight stay in a hotel paid for by the union. So I went, yeah, don't matter what it is, I'll sign up, please. So I've got some work to do. I don't know what exactly. No, but it's basically it's networking really, where we raise our concerns to everybody else, and then they're raising their concerns with their companies. And it'd be like, for example, we might go and then one of the companies, well, our drivers are on £58 an hour, and we'll go, well, ours are only on £2 an hour. So then we can start negotiating an equal wage for that job in that area. And yeah, it's essentially networking, but it's all good union stuff. And I know not everyone would necessarily agree, but I fully support the principle of a union, the workers uniting and helping each other out. So yeah, and I think we can do some good work at the company and make it a much nicer place to work for. Not that it's not a nice place now. So so let's hassle Fleetwood J for a bit, shall we? So he doesn't get so bored.
I'm fine.
So yeah, and I'm sure there was something else we were gonna. I wrote on Facebook a massive long list of what we were gonna do today, and I can't even remember the list. So
I can't remember either.
no. So Horlicks, your camera looks better this week. Is it a new one?
No.
And you've gone. There we go.
Hello. Yeah.
I thought you went muted for a little while.
Oh no. No. Same camera. I've not done anything to it. Not changed the settings either. It's weird. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Fair enough. And I must admit, Fleetwood, you have a very good looking setup. You said you just bought a new laptop.
Yeah, I'm actually using my old one because I tried doing my new one and it wouldn't work tonight. I was having a right paddy strop before you came on. I was like, ugh. So I've gone back to my old one. It's working fine. So it's the first time I've tried the webcam out and the microphone out at once, if you know what I mean.
So I'm complimenting on how good your new computer is, and all the while you're using the old one.
Yeah.
Right, so Dave Milne has very kindly reminded me that I was going to be doing some painting today. So I will find something I didn't prepare, actually. I knew I should have done. No. I'm just going to be looking for some figures that I can, or something that I can paint, because I've not got anything. Right, okay. Let's ruin one of these. Right. So what I've got here, can I ask you a big favour, Fleetwood? Can we have a look at your grey suited guy? And while we do that, does somebody want to just give me a shout out for a colour? So what Fleetwood has done there is he's repainted. Is that Mr. Hachette you've called him?
This is Mr. Gambit now.
Mr. Gambit. So he has painted that extremely well. I'm not going to take anything away from it. The paint job is superb. Now, when I paint miniatures, I don't know if anybody's seen me painting miniatures, but what we tend to do is we try to we enhance any detail. I noticed that there were some folds on the legs and some just behind. And what the idea is to take it to the next level is to just make those details pop out a little bit. So 2 ways to make a detail pop out: gold chrome. Yeah, I'm gonna do gold chrome, aren't I? So the 2 ways to make some detail pop out is to make the surrounding area darker, or to pick out details and make them lighter, which is what I'm going to do today. And I think actually grey might be a good way to go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little bit of cheating, and I'm going to use a Citadel paint. You'll find that there's hundreds of different makes of paint. Citadel is just a make of paint. And I'm trying to find a grey. Here we go. Right. So you don't have to use the very best miniature paints that there are, but obviously the better the quality of the paint, the better it's going to be. So I'm going to, let me change my camera. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to paint this. This is an orc from a game of Blood Bowl. I've picked this one because it's not painted. And I've picked this paint because this paint, we don't need a primer. So that's just my way of cheating. Otherwise, I'd have to prime it. And so let me find a brush. So paint. I don't really know what to say about the paint. These paints are quite, well, this one's what we call a layer paint, which is, call it an ordinary paint. And you can get base paints. So base paints tend to have more pigment in it, which means that you get a much stronger finish. It's not so see-through. So I'm going to be quite boring on the first layer. And I'm just going to get a little bit of paint. Always use a palette. Gives you a lot more control. And then what we're going to do is we're going to thin this paint a little bit. If you painted with this, I don't know if you can see, but on the plastic, there's little tiny brush marks. You see them on the bits there. So because that paint is quite thick, it's not flowing as much. So when you paint, you're going to get little ups and downs. Not so much with this paint. So the way we eliminate that is we're just going to thin the paint a little bit with water. I can't get my pot of water out, so you'll just have to trust me. And all I'm going to do is just dip my brush into the water, just like a brush full of water, and then we'll just thin that down a little bit. Maybe half water, half paint, a little bit less water. And you can see that that's now starting to flow a little bit better. So because it's thinner, you will need more than one coat, but that's not the end of the world. If you use white and you thin it, you will need a lot more coats, won't you, Horlicks?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe 30, 40?
30, 40, yeah, sounds about right. So what I'm going to do is I made that really, really thin, actually. So because I'm doing a first layer, it doesn't need to be absolutely amazing. It just needs to be covered, and it needs to be an even consistency. And I'm just going to paint the front of him. This is actually going to be a really good model to paint because it's got so much detail on it. So, and these acrylic paints are great because they don't take very long to dry. They take like overnight to dry really, really well, but just to dry to a point where you can work them we're talking 5 minutes. And if you keep your coats thinner, they dry even quicker. So there's a first layer on. So you can now see the two different colors plastics are now starting to look the same. And then what we'll do is once that's dry, you can speed up the drying process with a hairdryer. Don't use a heat gun because that is way, way, way too hot. But when that's done, we'll pop another coat on it. And then once we've got the coats of paint on and dry, we're then going to do an ink wash. Or is it help me out, Love Minis? It's not an ink, is it? But basically, I don't know if you could see in there. It's what's called a wash, and it's basically ink and water essentially. There's a lot more to it than that. And what's going to happen is we're going to put this all over wash on. And what it's going to do is it's going to run into all of the recesses, but it's not going to sit on the top. So what will happen, it will instantly make detail pop. Shade or wash, yeah. We're shading it. So looking at this now, you can't see a massive amount of detail. There is detail there, but we want that detail to pop out. And it also, excuse me, a good way of saying it is it kind of makes it painting by numbers because all the recesses go really dark, and it leaves the top surfaces lighter. It then kind of tells you where to paint the lighter areas. So I'm actually just getting, yeah, there you go. It's really transparent paint. You can actually make a wash out of paint by really, really thinning it. So I'm just getting the hairdryer out because obviously we've not got hours and hours. So I want to just try and speed up this drying, but if we need to, I'll finish this another night. So now Love Minis had been on at me for a while to get a hairdryer, and I wasn't getting one. And then suddenly this girl moved out of the house. She left a hairdryer behind saying, anybody wants this, just take it free to a good home. And I'm like, yes, I'm having that. So this is how I've got this this hairdryer. It's just an ordinary everyday hairdryer. So as you can see, it's quite a strong one. I do apologise about the noise. Right. I'm going to call that dry enough to apply a second coat. This is the bad side of it. You do end up putting multiple coats on. Sometimes you just want to rush in and get it done. But then again, is rushing in and getting it done really good thing?
No.
Worth taking your time.
Exactly. So I think looking at the time, we're only actually going to get as far as washers. But I think that that will prove a really good point. So that's the second coat. So now you can see that it will, I think this one will lighten a bit. But you can see now it's all one color. So despite being two different colors of plastic, we've now got the colors to match. It's obviously also the primer underneath makes a difference. If you want the colors duller, then put a dark primer on, and if you want the colors to pop out, put a white primer on. If you're not sure or you don't want any particular effect, just go with grey. Grey is a really good one because it's neutral. So yeah, so now we've got to wait for that dry. The second coat will probably take a little bit longer than the first. You can also affect the drying time by adding additives to them. So if you added a retarder, that would extend the drying time, makes it a lot slower, and that's very handy if you want to blend two paints together. What's called wet blending. You'll add a retarder to your paints so that once you can put like a blob of paint there and a blob of paint there, and then you can bring the one into the other and then the other one into the first one. But I don't know if we'd be using that much for these. Obviously, we're going for a certain level. Right. So I'll be honest with you, it's the first time I've ever used a hairdryer on minis. And the way I'm feeling, I think I might be doing it again.
It's strong, isn't it?
I was just going to say, that's how strong it is. Trouble is, it blows hot. You've got to press this button in to cool it down. It's okay, I'm happy with that. Right, so this is where the magic's going to happen. I managed to get paint all over the worktop from this. Right, so
Yeah, Dave was saying if using chrome or silver, black is a good primer.
yeah, always use black primer if you're using a metallic paint.
Which is really good because when I did my, I don't know if everyone knows, when I did my VW camper, I 3D printed it. The silver went on really nice actually. Not that you might be able to see it, but I only had.
Sorry, I've got the view stuck on me. I do apologise.
Oh, that's all right. No, I was just. Yeah, I've got the silver, and it went on really nice. But I only had black surface primer, so I did. I think most of you already know this, but I 3D printed all this, and then I painted the whole thing in black primer, as you can see underneath. Originally, it was white. The actual plastic was white, and then I primed it all black, knowing I wanted like a green bottom, silver trim, and a white roof. So it literally took me about 30 or 40 coats of white to even make it look.
And you've just gone muted again. We got about 30 to 40 coats, and then you went.
Oh yeah, about 30 30 to 40 coats of.
But look
of
at the
white.
finish you've got, Horlicks.
But it's come out all right.
That's your first attempt at painting a 3D printed model, but your second attempt at painting, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I can still see. Do you know what? I'm not going to lie. I think I know. I can still see that it's actually black underneath.
But it's a good tabletop standard, and by tabletop it means that it looks good from 20 meters. Is it? Help me out here, Love Minis. Just define tabletop standard. Basically, it looks good from a short to medium distance.
Yeah.
So right.
I don't know.
So we have this miniature now that is nicely base painted. Nothing wrong with that. You could leave it there if you wanted to. You know, if that's the hello, Stuart Sullivan. How are you? So that looks really nice. That's got some nice detail to it. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get my camera app and I'm going to fix that focus, because I think for this, because it's got details in it, it's going to be quite important. There we go, 3 feet. So if something looks good from 3 feet, that's tabletop standard. And I would suggest that your Beetle, your camper van, is a very good tabletop standard. Again, Love Minis is the brutally honest person. So if she wants to chirp in and agree or disagree with me, I'm quite up for that. But then she knows that she can be brutally honest to me, because that will push me to improve.
Yeah.
So I don't mind her saying, Penny, that's a load of junk.
No, I don't mind either. So yeah.
Right, I'm nearly there with the camera. So let's take a focus point of there. Right. So, and I'm going to move the light up as well, because it's going to show a lot of defects. So there we go. So we can see this detail there, but that detail isn't really popping out. So what I'm going to do, and this is just going to be the first stage, I'm going to get, this is called Nuln Oil, but it's Nuln Oil is a black wash. That's all it is. So I'll get a bit of tissue paper so I can show you. I mean, there's about 58 different colors for every manufacturer, and they call them different names. We've got one called Baby Poop, and it's greens and blues in it. But as you can see, it's just simply a black wash, and that's it. So what we're going to do, you can dilute this if you want, but just for the effect, I'm just going to use it straight out of the bottle. And all we're going to do, as the name suggests, we're going to wash it. And can you see that instantly that detail now pops out? It runs into the recesses. And it's not really too much effort required to do that. There we go. It'll look better once it's dry. But yeah, basically it's oh, sorry. So instantly, see how much detail has just popped out at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially the arm. Well, all of it, but the arms. I didn't even know there was that detail in the arm, on the left arm.
So yeah, all the muscle definition is now starting to come out. I mean, obviously I'm doing this grey. If I did it all the correct colours, it would pop out even more. Unfortunately, there we go. Look, so there's the comparison. There's where we started. Nice detail. You can see it has got some nice detail, but we've now increased the level of detail. So I can't really do anything more to that this week, because I've got to let that dry. But what we would then, once this is dry, what we would do is we would then restore the greys back on the upper areas. And then what we'll start to do is look for any seriously, like what we call edge highlights. So you see there on the edge of his glove. we would hit that with a very light color, and that forces a lot more detail. So we can take that to another level.
And I'm guessing with the wash that you wouldn't really want to blow dry that because it's so liquidy, it's just going to blow all that out the recesses, isn't it?
Exactly. It's going to take half an hour to dry, maybe an hour. Quite often, what I'll do with washers is I'll put the washers on at the end of the session, and then I can leave them as long as I need. So if you guys are all right with that, I'm going to I quite like what I've done here. I've got this one is left, that bit's painted but left not washed, this bit's unpainted. So I think what I'll do next week is I will paint just half of him. So we'll have half is just washed and then half is taken to another level again. So but that's just a very simple wash, and you can even make your own washes as well. I'm really glad that's helped you. Are you actually still on? Do we have you voicing, Fleetwood?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So I was just doing something else.
No, it's fine. It's but yeah, so that's just taking it to one extra level. But you can see that this the bit where I've painted it, it's nice. You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But just a simple application of a wash, suddenly it's gone bang. And then what we'll do next week is we'll take that to an extra level. So you can see that. There we go. When I now show you this, it's now not quite as amazing as you first thought, is it? You can see that I've just applied the same principle over and over, and there is not really a hell of a lot of skill in doing that. So just by adding the washers and then adding highlights and you know, and lowlights, it's incredibly simple. It's one of those things where, you know, normally people say you put a lot of effort in, you get a lot out. In actual fact, you can get an awful lot out for not a lot in. So it's almost cheating. It's almost criminal how easy it is, isn't it? So, yeah. So, anything else on the agendas?
Not really.
No, I don't. I'm struggling to think now.
I've just got to wait for my issued 51 to arrive, hopefully in the next few days.
I'm just hoping mine is sitting in the post office.
Yeah, actually, I'm hoping mine's going to come this week because, well, I've got tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday for my next 4 issues to come because obviously I've changed mine to a Monday.
Well, I've said before, if you want any of my issues and you replace them when they come, I'm quite happy to do that.
Yeah, no, it's not worth it, I don't think. I mean, it is worth it because it'd be nice to get my content out. But by the time you've posted it to me and then I've posted it back, and I think it's just unnecessary postage money.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. You mean you're a stingy ass like me and don't want to pay postage?
Not at all, but I don't know. It's just I'm hoping it'll be here. It might, but as I said, it might be a little bit late.
Yeah, but then again, patience is a virtue. Thinking about this, yeah, Steve's asking you what issue you're up to.
I can't remember. Hang on. 34.
34.
Yes, I've just filmed 34, where I put the safety rails along the bottom.
Do you know, it doesn't seem that long ago when you started, you know.
The thing is, I don't, as I said to you, like, I can totally appreciate what you're saying now because you were talking about the safety rails, weren't you? And the absolute they just make it just makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And once you put the inner walls on, it makes a little bit more difference.
I'm just
And
going to move that because I'm
I,
going to lose it.
I've said about the gaps in my inner wall, but based on the safety bars and everything, I'm confident that once we get the outer walls in, that's going to support that because they don't have the joins in the same place. You see where the joins are, they're all in different places. So there's not
Mm.
one big hole in the middle. Oh, let's go over to yours. But yeah, it is amazing. You watch that bonnet, won't you?
Pardon? Yeah.
Watch that bonnet. Otherwise, we'll have somebody else asking for another issue one. I am really. Was it you, Jason, was asking for another issue one?
Not me, no.
Oh, somebody was. I feel absolutely awful. I thought because I went out and bought loads of issue ones to practice on because I thought it's 199 an issue, and there's this lovely bonnet. So I was practicing paint stripping, and I nailed it on the first bonnet. So I think I had about 2 or 3 issues, and I think people have been asking me for bits, and I thought I had 2 issues left over, and so of course I posted this morning. Yeah, I got bonnet you can have. It's still sealed. And then I went to have a look and I've only got 1 issue, so I've only got my own. So I feel absolutely awful telling someone, yeah, you can have it, and then saying no, you can't. So please forgive me.
Well,
Nice to actually start attaching the bonnet as well.
yeah. Do you know what though? I mean, obviously yeah. I think you've both already done that, but I just want to attach my wing and everything. This is still loose.
Oh, you're gonna have fun with that.
It's sad.
Oh,
I know it sits there all right, and I'm
the
half
LEDs. You've
yeah.
still got to come yet,
I
haven't
know
you?
I'm a bit worried about that because I don't actually know how anyone's got that in because I've had a little play, and yeah, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it.
So
I'm
issue
amazed
42
at
is
my
definitely a swear issue.
Yeah, there's a few sweary issues, isn't there?
Yeah.
Was it 29 was a sweary issue? I think it was
Yeah, the fuel
actually.
pipes, yeah.
Yeah.
All mine arrived from Hachette snapped. So I sent
Oh,
another one and they were all snapped. So I just sod it. I'll go get some florist wire and I use florist wire for my pipes instead.
but it's a shame when you've got to do that, really, isn't it? You
Yeah.
pay good money for the bits. But then I think Hachette would have kept sending you out bits until it was all right.
Mm. Well, I feel really
So at least
lucky because mine's luckily, apart from that missing piece that I got, um, I don't think I've had any damaged bits. Oh no, tell a lie. It's part of the exhaust pipe, or no, the radiator pipe was snapped in half, but I glued it, and
right.
and then I thought I'd wait and see, and as it happens, by the time I fixed it to the actual bus, it was the join was really well hidden. So I thought, oh, I'm going to leave it on there. So I've actually still got the whole issue, I think. So they said they replaced it.
Yeah. Love Minis. Love Minis the other day asked me to get her some magazines, the Warhammer Conquest magazines. I popped into WH Smith's this morning and they're up to issue 22. And I said, can you get me 2 issues? And she said, well, we always have 1 issue come in. We'll gladly save that 1 issue, but they won't let us advance order 5 weeks in advance. So I've got to wait a couple of weeks. Then I'll hassle them every week. Once they get to within a distance where they can pre-order, she'll try and get 2 issues, but she can't make a promise. So what I'm going to do over the next couple of days, see if there's another news agents that do them. So I'll get one from one news agent and one from another. The other alternative is to order them direct from Hachette. But I would at the live build. Hope you can forgive me. Oh no, I thought you said something earlier on, David. So yeah, sorry, but what might be worth considering, if I have to buy the issues from Hachette's website, consider getting 3, because if you get 3, it then goes to £25, which then qualifies you for free postage, which saves you £2.99. So it'll be £5 more to get a 3rd issue. So it's £8.99 an issue. 2 issues is going to be 18, 19, 20, 20, about £22. 3 issues is going to be about £28 because there's no postage. But basically, I've tried to get them, and it's too early to get an issue 5 weeks in advance. So, but yeah, that's yeah. I'm guessing you've seen issues 27 because a subscriber's got it, and maybe they're ahead of them, which is good to see actually. So, so yeah. Does anyone want to talk about new partworks? There seems to be a hell of a lot of new partworks on the horizon.
I've signed up for the Land Rover, but I haven't heard any more about it.
Yeah, now I spoke to, because that's an Eagle Moss one, isn't it? Yeah, I rang them up last Friday and she said it's out tomorrow, meaning last Saturday. And I said, are you sure? Because that's a funny time. I was going to sign up on the website, but it didn't say how many issues it is in total. Do you know how many issues?
I have reason to believe it's around 100, I think, or 85. Someone said. I don't really know.
Okay. 85 will be good because they've got an option for premium where you pay £1 an issue extra, and you get like a welding kit.
Yeah.
And I looked at it. I wouldn't really be prepared to pay £130 for it. But what I discussed with the woman is that if I bought the first 5 issues from the shop and then subscribed online and paid £1 an issue, I would still get the welding kit. So I thought, okay, fine. But I went to WH Smith's and they said, no, it's not out. And then I heard somewhere it's been delayed. And I've even heard somewhere it's a test. But I've also heard they wouldn't have a website for it in the way that they've got it if it was a test. So I don't know.
I got an email with payment plans saying your issue is going to start from issue 1 and then it's going to be £35 odd a month, if you know what I mean, for the 4 issues. And
Right.
that
Okay.
was about 4 days ago. And I rang them the other day and they said, oh, it's on hold. I said, well, I
Right.
got this email, and they said, oh, have you? And then she got a bit confused. So I think even Eagle Moss don't know what they're doing.
Do you know
I
what?
think
That seems to be a very common thing with all part works. You know, they bring these tests out, and then you're left wondering what's going on with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also hearing that Terminator is on the horizon. Now I'm signed up. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead with that, but I signed up for it when it first came out, and that's not going ahead at that time. But I think because I signed up right at the beginning, just like the Warhammer, when it does come out, I'll get the first 4 issues for free because I got my first 4 Warhammers for free because I signed up for it and then they stopped it and then they brought it out and they said, thank you for signing up. We're sorry it's not going ahead. When it does come out, you'll get 4 free issues. X-Wing, I've not heard anything firm. World of Wayne seems to know a lot more about that than me. But I think that was a test and that's on hold. I'm also hearing rumors of the Vespa, which I've just only heard a rumor on that. And I've also heard one that does actually excite me, the VW Beetle.
That's on Model Space's website. You can register your interest on it.
Right. The reason it interests me is, apart from being an awesome vehicle, is it might go quite well with my Lego Beetle. So
I was doing the Volkswagen camper van with the Model Space. They sent me
yes,
pack 1, But then I'm having horrendous problems with payments with them. They're saying, well, we can't take payments to your bank. Contact your bank. So I spoke to NatWest and they said, there's not a problem. You've got Hachette coming out. Why would we have a problem with Model Space? So I spoke to Model Space.
I'm seeing Mike Anderson have problems.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that and I'm going, well, you've got payments going out to that company, but then you're now having the same problems. So, yeah, it's a case of what's going on.
They said to me, how long have you been with NatWest? I said, well, for many years. Can't you change banks so you can get the payment for us? I said, no, I'm not just going to up banks to please you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But I mean, the payments that I make for partworks, excuse me, sorry. I pay Hachette by direct debit, and I have no problems with that whatsoever. And I pay Millennium, Falcon, and Harley Davidson by both of them are done by PayPal. So I don't know if that makes a difference.
I've tried PayPal, but they said they couldn't do it either on PayPal or my bank. So I just said, look, forget it. Yeah, which is a shame because the Volkswagen camper is really nice and it's one of my favourite vehicles along with the Land Rover. So, and it's almost a shame it put me off doing the Volkswagen Beetle because I would love to have done that one as well.
So yeah, because after a while you start to look at the company then, don't you?
Yeah.
Because I was, there was one I was looking at. I mean, for me, if I've got a choice between two partworks and one of them is being done by D'Agostini, I will drop the D'Agostini one because I know that will sit on their website forever and a day. In the same way that I'm doing the Millennium and the Harley. But I'm now starting to look at Eaglemasters and going, do I really want to do an Eaglemoss build? You know, I'm looking at the DeLorean and I'm like, I'm really glad I haven't done the DeLorean. But that's kind of what's put me off the Land Rover. You know, it looks a really good model, but what's it really going to be like when you get into the nitty gritty? So
what I liked about Land Rovers was they were doing the different roof options for it. They were doing the canvas one, the hard top, you know, so you can mix and match, and that's what I thought was quite nice.
Don't laugh at me, but one of the things that drew me in is the spare tire options.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Quite funny, isn't it? So
yeah, you can have it on the bonnet or you can have it in the back, and you got the little trailer with it as well. So but yeah, Dave, I mean, Dave, you make a really good point. I mean, the free gifts for the Land Rover are not overly exciting, but you get that welding kit. So could you get that if you got it through the newsagents?
So that's interesting. Look, David Trout also doing the camper van. He's got no problems, and he's with NatWest.
He's just had pack 3, so it does exist then.
Yeah,
it isn't to do with the whole mobile phone tablet. Oh, yeah,
that's right.
It's not to do with the whole mobile phone tablet thing, is it? I suppose you've done it on your laptop, Fleetwood.
Yeah, I've done it on my laptop. Yeah, I do. I don't. Yeah, even though I've got my mobile phone here, I do 90% of my stuff on the laptop. So
a laptop because you can see more then, can't you?
Yeah, that's it.
And my tablet at the moment is strictly for Seaport. Android, I just love it. I can't put it down.
But yeah, it's frustrating when they don't take your money. So what does it do? Do they take the money and then they just reverse it?
Well, they just said that they can't authorise a payment from my bank, so it just comes back to them as declined. My bank says we can see the payment trying to come in, but it's like if Model Saves put it in and then take it back out on the same day, so you don't actually get to my bank to take the money out. You know, so they said they can't work out what the problem is because pack 1 I got was fine, but then pack 2 they're saying they can't do it because of this payment problem. So I said try PayPal. So I tried PayPal and they said, oh, we can't authorise PayPal because you're using your NatWest card. I said, well, I've got no other card, so I'm not going to go.
But if they're paying through PayPal, they're not taking the money through your bank. They're taking it through
I
PayPal.
know. I just don't know what the hell's going on. They seem to be sort of fobbing me off a lot, and I just get impatient now. I just think, do you know something? You can't be bothered. Forget it. And
Yeah. Isn't it a
lost interest
shame
in it
though
now.
when isn't it a shame when you lose interest not because of the bill but because of the payment options?
Frustration.
Yeah.
No,
So David Trapp's now saying he's subscribed using his phone. So it looks like these problems are being isolated to certain people, or maybe they're making excuses. But then wasn't there an incident where Mike Anderson, he couldn't subscribe using his phone or tablet? He's now bought a laptop,
yeah.
he's subscribed, and it's gone through absolutely fine.
I know he's having payment problems on a couple of his subscriptions. You know what I mean? So, but I just don't know. Do you know what I mean? It could be just down to a personal reason that he's doing so many collections that his bank's bouncing all the payments. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, he could be looking at that suspicious payments, couldn't they?
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to change the subject back again to the figure that I've done because the wash has actually dried. Now, once the wash dries, it's actually calmed down a lot. Let me just move. But you can see it really has settled in the recesses. So although it's not the wet bits aren't as dark as they were before, comparing it to the back, you can see that it's still made a massive difference. So what we would do in the next stage is we will go back, go like this bit here. You see it's been darkened a bit by the wash. So what we'll do is we'll go back and do that. And that's the little bit of a longer bit. So we'll paint over that bit, but we'll leave the recesses alone. And then, but you can see the detail on the jawline. Some really nice
Impressive.
detail there come out. Yeah. So it's pretty much done a lot of magic all on its own. But you'll see what happens next week. I think I might actually have missed a bit there. No, that's gone through fine. Right. We actually did an experiment a while back. I can't find the figures that I did the experiment with, but we've always used. Oh, Chris, no, I haven't. I've been. This is still at this stage, I'm afraid. I will get on with it, but I've been here, there, and all over the place. So I do apologise. Yeah, we've always got a figure, put primer on it, put paint on it, wash, layer, edge highlight. But the primer that Games Workshop did, they stopped doing it. I think they had some problems with it, or they reformulated or something. And I sent an email to Games Workshop to say what's happening with this primer, and they pretty much said, "Oh, we're not, it's not available yet, but try using some Abaddon Black, which is their name for their black, and add a little bit of medium to it to thin it down." And I thought, well, hang on, that's a straight paint. So we did an experiment and we painted lots of miniatures. We did primed some of them and we put straight paint on. We put different manufacturers' paints on. And what we actually found is if you're using a Citadel paint, you don't actually need a primer. As you can see from this, no primer on this. Some brands such as Vallejo, you will need a primer. So we've inadvertently saved an awful lot of money by not buying primer and using Citadel paints. My Harley Davidson, I've not progressed this month because I took a bit of a break from Twitch. I will be returning this Friday. So what I'm about to show you, you've probably already seen, but it's still at that problematic stage where you get lots of big bits, but you don't actually build much. We've got the front wheel has been done, or the front wheel frame. We've got a really nice fuel tank. But this is a year's worth of issues. The handlebar, I love the handlebars. We've got, I think this is the front disc, the front brake disc. And then we've got, remind me what this is, Horlicks. It's not the air filter, is it?
No. Is it the
Crankcase.
crankcase? Yeah.
And that's what we've actually built. And yeah. Now comes the heavy box. So what we have got left is.
Sorry, I'm so little giggle.
All right. We've got a bag of bits. We've got some more bits. We've got a tyre. We've got some more bits. We've got more bits and more bits and some small bits and another bit and a big bit and that's how it goes. Every single issue is, here's a piece, now put it to one side for later. And that's so it's a little bit frustrating. You're getting these absolutely beautiful pieces. They are really nice, don't get me wrong. And we got a free screw I managed to put some more small bits in there.
Great build by the looks, and I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic when it's finished. But it's not a part work, is it? If you can't build anything.
Well, it's parts of a part, really.
I mean, I know you've put a few little bits together, but nothing to really get your teeth stuck into, is there?
No. You've just kind of, each week it's like, I want it. Now compare it to the Millennium Falcon. We're working on about 3 different sections at once. Hang on, I'm going to have to take my headphones off for this. It's heavy and awkward and big. So this is just the framework. And then we've got a big old box of bits because we've got all of the frame pieces to go. So we do actually produce something every week with the Millennium, or every issue. But these are both roughly about halfway through now. Really going to start. If I just hit my mute button.
Yeah, you're clicking on and off.
Yeah, all right. Let me take the headphones off. I'm kind of stuck in a position here now.
Oh dear.
Don't drop it for goodness sake.
Yeah, I'll just see that. Yeah. I've just had the full kit for my birthday. It took me 5 days to complete it. Went together. Fine. Top quality build.
Yeah. See, with the Millennium, what they're doing is here's a little bit to build, and then here's some pieces for later. Because these are all the pieces for later. And they're mostly shell pieces. So I've just been building those up. And the details on it is absolutely amazing. But once these go on, it's going to be a rather big. I just can't figure out when they go on. But then you've got things like the cockpit, which looks absolutely amazing. So you can't see it too well from there. And I weathered that a little bit, make the seats look a bit grubbier. And then you've got some corridors and some little room. I can't remember what that is now. So there's been plenty of building, and then they just chuck in 1 or 2 extra bits and say, and that I think is the way to do it, because I mean, look at the size of that bag. You know that when that comes out. But some people have already put this on before the stage that I'm at, but I've not actually seen in the instructions now put the shell pieces on. Oh, Dave remembers yours, do you? On the Falcon, I'm up to issue 36, and then I've got 37, 38, 39, 40, sitting in a box over there ready to do, and I've just paid for 41 to 44, so that'll be with me any day now. But I would have done the last one last month, so I've had to be really patient, and I've just put them to one side ready for when, because I do all my builds on stream, which is as much fun as it is frustrating. I have to take the headphones off so I can get this on the shelf. So yeah, it was yeah, I'm really liking the Millennium. I'm struggling now. If someone said to me, "What's your favourite build?" It's going to be between the Millennium and the bus, but I really don't know anymore because they're both growing to that point. So I don't know. What about you, Dave Mill? You obviously you've done the Millennium and you're doing the bus. What would you have a favourite between the two? And is there any other builds that anyone else might like doing? Because I quite like that DC. That Falcon is massive. I don't know if I've still got the blueprint. They give you a blueprint at the beginning, and it's actual size, and it is this 3 by 3. So if you got
Your mic sounds a bit funny.
Does it? I think it all sounds funny on my computer.
I don't know if it's a connection or.
Hello. How's that?
I
Yeah, I
think
think
we all
that's
deaf
better.
now.
Yeah. Chris is Dave Mills saying the bus. It's just a shame because this bus, well, not a shame, but this bus is so good. Do you think there'll ever be a better build? Is that a good question?
I think it's going to be hard to beat.
But if the bus is your first build and you go, right, I love Partworks, I'm getting another one, you've got this expectation, haven't you? And the bus is the one that set the standard.
I'd like a train.
Do you know what? I was looking at a train.
I want like a steam train, like a big one. Not necessarily that works, but just a model one, and with like the little door you can open up where the coal goes, and there's like a little burning coal that flickers in there and stuff like that. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Be honest, Horlicks, you just want to push it along going choo choo, don't you?
I do. I really do like trains, and if I had the room or owned a house, even I would have a model railway. But I'm in rented accommodation. There's just no point. You can't just whip one up and not and pull it down again. It's there for life, really, isn't it? So until I've got the right circumstances, I can't really do one.
Do you know what? I have just thought of a great money spinner for a partwork company. If they did a passenger train and they did a series of the magazines that had the passenger carriage, people would then buy one magazine for every carriage that they want. So if you want 10 carriages, you'd buy 10 copies of those magazines. That'd be brilliant for them, wouldn't it?
But there's that other one, isn't there? There is a magazine that you actually build your own railway.
Yeah, the whole layout, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I kept looking at it and thinking, no, I can't, because I've got nowhere to put it.
Yeah. They're actually kicking that one out now at half price, all the issues. They were £9 down to £4.50 when I last looked on the site.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they didn't have a lot of the earlier issues, but they had a lot of the later ones. It's like, but you need the earlier ones to start it, and trying to find the earlier ones is very hard.
That's the trouble with the partworks, isn't it? You miss one partwork, you might as well not bother with a build.
I don't mind something like a Blackpool tram, a balloon tram.
Yeah,
I think that'd be quite nice. You know what I mean? Or even a tube train, D stock, C stock, something like that would be nice. Or even a London taxi be quite nice.
Yeah,
as well.
People have mentioned the London taxi, and I've heard a rumour that Hachette have got something lined up after the bus. And the way I've heard the rumour, it might be related. And obviously, people have thrown the word London taxi out there. So maybe that's just speculation. Maybe there's something in it. But I've also heard that because I thought that the X-wing would come out after the R2D2 because it's Star Wars related. But I've also heard that they've got another Star Wars build lined up for when the X-wing finishes. So that could be exciting, and hopefully by then I'll have money.
I suppose if the London Taxi did come out and it was the right scale, you'd have to extend your diorama, and then it could be parked up behind it.
Yeah.
Well, what I would have to
end
do
up with a
is
high street.
I'd have to smash a dent in the bus and the taxi, and I'd have an accident diorama.
That's very jolly.
True.
But yeah, it's just I'm in a grim way this week. Oh no, do you know what? If I was paid £1 for rather than forget my wages, let's just pay me £1 for every accident I avoid on the road. I think my money would double every week.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Stuart Sullivan is asking Fleetwood where the pigeons came from on the diorama.
They came from eBay.
eBay. Have you considered doing a video on it and then actually in the description put links to where you got everything from? That really is amazing.
Yeah.
I just look at that and it's brilliant.
Yeah, I would find that quite useful links to some of that.
It's just amazing. But that boy, I've said this on Facebook, and his expression to me, it just says to me, no, honest, I'm not going to kick the football at the bus as you drive past, honest.
Yeah. I did also.
He looks like he's about to cause trouble. You haven't put fish and chips in the engine. No.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Oh, that's so classic. Because that's what they did in the old days, wasn't it? They went to their outer terminus, they bought the fish and chips, they stuck it in the engine, they drove back to the depot, they finished for the day, and they finished off with hot fish and chips.
I have actually bought something else to go on the top of the deck of the bus, and it's a nod to on the buses. I've actually brought, sounds weird, a doll's house pair of knickers and bra.
Oh, brilliant.
Which
brilliant.
to put on the top deck, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So, you know what I mean.
So,
as I said, I've got sound coming for this.
Are you going to get bits of bed and stuff as well then?
No, I don't
know. When they moved the bed?
See. Yes, and the toilet as well.
Yeah, on the back.
Put the toilet on the back, yeah.
Yeah.
That might be a quite good one.
That was really funny, wasn't it? When he got kicked off and then he jumped on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a lion to put in there as well then.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would caught me an
That'd be brilliant. So. Yeah, you could recreate. So maybe I've got the best colour bus going then when I do mine green.
As I said, the next big thing for me will be putting sound on the diorama. I'm in talks with a guy at the moment to build me a soundboard, and you know, that should be the next big one, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, that shouldn't be too difficult to do.
Sounds. Yeah.
I've had a stroke of luck. There's in our area. There's a group of people doing. I don't know if how common the concept is, but there's a new thing out called maker spaces, and they're basically buildings where community can come in and use spaces, and they've got a small maker space at the library. So it's very limited in what you can do. You can't really do anything messy. But I went along to one of the meetings yesterday, and I said, look, I'm here to find out exactly what a makerspace is, and is it what I think it is, and essentially it is, and they're going to be securing an area in the future, so we've got areas to work on. But one of the guys that was there, he's an absolute whiz with Arduinos and electronics, and he's promised to show me some stuff that's going to blow me away. But he also talked about something else. I can't for the life of me remember, but it's essentially it's Arduino, but it's a lot more powerful, and it's more for audio, because he's talking about 32-bit, which, you know me with electronics, I don't know a hell of a lot. I know a little bit, but so yeah, I might have some expert tuition on some electronics, so that could be exciting. Um, so yeah, Roger's asking what kind of soundboard.
It's primarily designed for model railways. The guy is currently moving house at the moment, so he's not actually listed them on eBay. So once he's moved house, he's going to let me know the links, and then I'll be able to order one. So as soon as I know a bit more, I will let you know.
So will it be a case of like you can press a button and you might get
Yeah, what you
that bus
have
out butler?
is, yeah, you got on the one that I'm looking at has got 8 channels, so you can have eight sounds that can run for an hour at each channel. You
Wow,
got a volume up and down. You got a power supply in, and a polyphonic speaker, and all that lot costs around 40 quid.
that's not bad,
It's
really, is it?
USB. No, it's USB drag and drop. You can either put USB lead in the back to each channel and drag and drop from your laptop, or if you've got a USB stick, you can do it across that way as well.
Right.
So
So would you be able to have, say, for example, a random mode where it'll just pick a random, like
no,
maybe do a
you
timer
have to
and
press. Yeah, you can
right,
press each one, and it will cancel each one out that you've pressed before. So
right.
yeah.
So it'll still be a bloody good showpiece then, though, won't it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm thinking of maybe mounting the speaker under the bus,
Yeah.
drill a hole into the diorama and putting a manhole cover over the top, but allow
That'd be
maybe
good.
some mesh to allow the sound out. Then obviously, then I've got to try and hide the electrics, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah, but they can all go. I mean, you could build like a piece of wood underneath and just put some channels in. That's not going to
yeah,
be too difficult to do, is it?
no, no, because I'm just don't know if to put a backdrop on the back of the diorama. I'm not too sure yet, if you know what I mean.
That
Mm.
would
So
work well,
I
wouldn't it?
will. I was thinking of maybe 1960s Routemasters postcards, sort of done as a backdrop. Maybe I don't know. You know,
I'll
just
have to
sitting
hurry
thinking.
up
Yeah,
and get those scans done, and you might be able to use a couple of those then.
yeah. Somebody
Rogers.
said, sorry.
No, you go on.
Somebody said you should put a technical drawing of a Routemaster on the back. I thought, don't know.
Could work, yeah. Roger sorry, I can't pronounce that. I'm not even going to try. Roger has said you can get a cheap MP3 trigger from eBay. I used one for my R2D2 I built. Oh, that's a good suggestion, Stuart Sullivan. You need Frank Spencer on roller skates. I know
I
it's
did
not
see
on the
that.
buses, but
Mm.
that would be brilliant. Right, guys. So I'm going to talk about wrapping the show up. I know we started late, but obviously I have a little bit of trouble finishing late as well. I'm on what I call early splits this week, so I'm getting nice finish times of 6:30. But the consequence of that is that I start about 6 in the morning. So I am going to make a small return to Twitch this week. So if anybody fancies watching me do my partwork builds, I will return on Friday. I was hoping to return on Sunday for what I call a chill out Sunday, where I just do completely unplanned, but I get the paintbrushes out. But I'm going to leave that for another week, and I'm going to return because, as you can see, I've still got a bit more to do in my room. But I'm looking forward to getting the screwdriver out and getting the Millennium Falcon and the Harley Davidson done. But other than that, I'm also hoping to get some more of the R2 done so I can get more videos made. Because I'll give you a sneak preview if you wish. Well, you've already seen this actually. but I'm now starting to do the magnets on the leg. Excuse me. So what's going to happen here is that's what the leg will look like. Obviously not this scale, but there's the top of the leg, and then you've got this horseshoe that goes over the top, and then a blue bit there. And because the way that I think the motor comes here, and that runs a belt down there onto the feet. So obviously you need access to that. So these panels are removable. So they go on with magnets. And I've got, this is going to be held on with 4 2.5 kilogram pull magnets. And the blue bit there, you've got 2 holes at the bottom, which goes into a peg, and then they attach at the top. So that's good stuff. And I'm finding out that this epoxy resin from Poundland is actually really good, and that's what I've stuck those in with. So this is about episode 23, 24. So it won't be on YouTube for a few weeks yet. But you will find I'm struggling with my dome. As you can see, it's still sitting at the back, full of car body filler, and I've got nowhere to sand it down because of the dust problem with it. So, but yeah, loads to get on with, and obviously Chris's unicorn, which I'm going to show you the finish on this. This took 2 days to print. I think it was 2 days, but I did it on the absolute best quality I could, and I think you'll agree the result is worth it, isn't it?
Mm.
The only problem is the support's broke on the bottom, so he's got a big hole in his belly, and I'm trying to sort his face out there. But I think I can do that. But say the belly, I'm just going to put a load of milliput in there, milliput green stuff, and but look at the shiny finish. And this was done with a cheap PLA as well. So, and then tonight I'm going to reprint the handle, which there we go. Did I tell you last week about this? I've been doing the sword. Have I shown you the sword?
I think. Oh, I don't know. I know you showed me, but
Okay, well, I'll show you all again then. So, if anybody knows Game of Thrones, you may or probably not recognize this as being Longclaw, which is Jon Snow's sword. So I've printed all the parts off. The only part that I haven't finished is the pommel on the end. And because it's highly detailed, I printed it on the absolute best quality I had. And as you can see, the quality is absolutely amazing. And that's just going to glue onto there like so. So there's your handle. The only problem is that when I was doing the bedroom, I was sorting out some plugs, and I pulled a plug thinking it was like the TV or PlayStation. And unfortunately, it was actually the plug for the 3D printer. So that's 2 days printing there gone. So, and then I started to try printing again, and the printer was just not having it. So now that I've printed this off, which was an upright print, I've now feel confident enough to give this a go. But as I say, this is a 48-hour print, so I want to be confident of the printer working. So, and you know me, I don't like the printer running during a Wednesday show. So, but yeah, that's the pommel for Longclaw, and it's really, really nice. It's really nice to hold as well. If I and the join is absolutely fantastic. You have to look closely at where the join actually. Oh, I've got the wrong camera angle. But yeah, you can't. There's the join. Obviously, you can see it there. I'll do it against my white. But if I push it down, it's really hard to see, and it is a really nice hold. But as I say, I've got to epoxy these. The trick is to glue them so that they're absolutely straight, because obviously a sword like that isn't going to look fantastic, is it? But this is, I was lucky with this because I did start printing it ages and ages ago, and I showed a friend at work, and he said to me a couple of weeks, he goes, what are you doing with that sword? I said, I've really not had a chance to do it. So he says, well, what if I pay you to do it? And I'm not making a massive, I mean, I don't make a lot of money on the prints. The idea is that I'm doing exciting projects, and it's not costing me any money. So I'm making about twice what it's cost me to print. So I'm happy to do it. So, because most of my projects, once I've done them, I don't really care about them too much. I'm just quite happy for them to sit on the shelves. And if I can give them to someone who'll get a lot of enjoyment out of them, then so much better. I've also got this that I printed off as well. And this is a little house stark sword holder. So this will go on the wall, and you can pop your sword on like that, which is pretty cool. Roger, I have got the CR10S, which I now refer to as the medium one. You can get the little ender, which is about 250 centimeters across. Mine is 300 across, but they've now brought out the CR10S5, is it? And that's got a massive. I'll tell you how big it is. You can print the R2D2 body in one piece. Instead of doing 14 pieces all around, you can do it in one. The width of the R2D2, which is incredible.
So I wonder how that works with regards to filament, though, because surely you'd have to change the spool half. Would it use a whole spool?
Oh, I think it takes the actual body. It's done in 3 rings, and I think each ring takes about 3 spools. So you have to do changes, and I don't trust mine enough to do a spool change.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it?
The only way I can do it is I have to cut the spool at an angle so that it kind of, because it doesn't feed quite right. So if you cut it at an angle, so you've got that shape rather than that shape, it'll kind of hit the hole, and then it'll move in where it needs. But then because you've then got less filament, you've got a little tiny bit of less filament, you've obviously got less. So the easiest way for me to do it is to pause the print and then feed it through. And it's aggravation. And you know what happens when you pause the print, you end up with this little blob. So you've got to hope it pauses in the right place. So yeah, it's just trying to. And to be honest with you, these little prints, where I'm doing them in 14 pieces, they're the way I'm doing the format on the R2 videos. I'm doing about 12 hours printing a week, just for the purposes of the video. And I think that's a nice amount of printing to do. Sorry, go on.
No, go on, come
on. Yeah, so it takes like 10 weeks to print one ring, but it's all done. If you do like a ring this high and this wide, and it takes like 5 spools at 20 quid a spool, and then you get right to the end and the whole print fails, you've wasted all of that filament, haven't you?
True.
Whereas if you do small pieces, I mean, I've got a big box full of failed prints, but I've got one piece that's failed, and then the next 10 come out successful. So you're losing maybe a fiver's worth of filament at a time. Mine has a filament sensor. I don't know if the big one does, and the ender has the ability to resume a failed print, which would be brilliant for me because I actually got a failed print the other day. I don't think it was a power cut. I think it was just it just stopped working. So, but then I'm having a problem with my octopi, aren't I?
That's a bit why I was sort of part of the reason I was late today, actually, because I knew you were going to be running a bit late, and
Yeah.
I've got two, as you know, I've got an Ultimaker 2, and I got two of them. So the other one, I said to my mate Dean, he's buying it. Um, he's bought all the parts because I'm renewing everything on it: belts, extruder, couplers, everything. It's going to be like a new printer, and
Okay.
I thought, oh, I'll quickly change the belts on that, which was actually really difficult. Because they're all intertwined with each other, and you've got to put them all on in a certain way because there's like 6 belts on the whole thing.
Yeah.
And anyway, I was doing that, and Carl was downstairs doing the dinner, and I said, as long as dinner's done by sort of 7:15, because I need to have time to eat it, and then sort myself out ready for the show.
Yeah.
So I'm busy trying to do this printer, and it got to like 7:15, and I shouted down the stairs, Carl, how long's dinner? And he said, 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, okay, that should be all right. So I carried on doing the printer, and then there's this smog everywhere upstairs. Like it's really dense smoke. And I'm
Oh
thinking, what's
no.
going on downstairs? And I went down, and he's fast asleep on the sofa, isn't he? The
Oh no.
oven was on full blast, and we actually had a bit of pork, but it was black.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
And I said, what are you doing? And it was like 5 to 8 at this point. And I said, what are you doing? You know, I said, because I lost track of time because I was so engrossed in doing these belts on this printer.
When you're fixing things on the printer, hours goes
Yeah,
by.
it just disappeared. I've still got more to do. I mean, I've got soldering to do because he's bought a whole new fan, all new fans for it, but they've got the wrong plugs on, so I need to do a bit of soldering. And I thought that's another day. But it's just like, yeah. So then by the time I messaged you, I didn't get a response straight away, and I thought, right, you're obviously still out, so I'm going to. I was dishing up the dinner, and then when you said, "Oh, I'm ready," I was like halfway through my dinner. That's why I said I'll be like 15 minutes.
Yeah, because I just loved your message. You said, "Long story short, I'm going to be late. Start without me."
Yeah.
So instantly, I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, what's going on there then?"
Well,
Um,
apart from eating the dinner, I had every door and window open in this freezing weather, trying to get rid of this dense smog that was all over the house. I've still got the window open. It's just, yeah, it was quite funny. But obviously, because my eyes started streaming, and I was like, my eyes were stinging, and I couldn't see what I was doing, and I'm trying to put this belt on that's really winding me up. But no, it's done now anyway. I've done the belts.
your house, isn't it?
And bless him, my mate Dean's actually bought me a whole set of belts for my own printer, as sort of and a few other bits as a sort of thank you for doing his.
Yeah.
So I've got brand new belts to put on.
So Fleetwood, are we making the world of 3D printing appealing to you?
No chance. I love it, but it'd be too much for me to do, if you know what I mean. So, because
It's a lot
I've
of
got
stress.
patience of a gnat.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's
No,
yeah,
looking at that diorama, I think no.
Well,
That
as I
must
say,
have been
come
a lot.
Christmas, it nearly went out the window. So,
well,
but
I mean, I've still got Mr. Concept here, which I'm gonna be doing some more work on them, I think. But um, I'm really severely tempted to print him on the absolute highest quality I've got. Because looking at the quality of this unicorn,
sorry,
if
Kenny,
I
just
got that,
button. I've got a nip off. We got
yeah,
somewhere
no
else.
problem. I'm going to end the show soon anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, thanks
Yeah,
to
nice
Dave
to see
Hill for
you.
watching, and thanks to Dave Say, you're all right to be on. Would you like to join us next week? Because it's 52, isn't it? And also, I have some very sad news for you all. Issue 53, we were hoping to get Mike Ganderson on. Unfortunately, he's had to withdraw. I'm not even going to go into the reasons, because I think he said something about he's not comfortable doing live builds, so he's withdrawn. So we'll try and get somebody else on. The way that I was just about to say, actually, the way that you're doing your diorama, I think we can get a month's worth of build out of you in 2 weeks' time, can't we?
Yeah, possibly.
Because you're flying along, aren't you?
Yeah. All right. So I'll say goodbye to everybody, and I'll see you maybe in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See
You
you
take care.
later.
Thanks ever so much for joining
Nice
us.
to meet you, Fleetwood.
Take care.
Yeah. Bye.
Love Minis has said that if she did that at her age, they'd take away her oven. And it reminds me of my great aunt, God rest her soul. She used to have one of the old whistle kettles. You know, the ones you put them on the oven and they whistle when they're done. And it died of old age. It was like 150 years old, this kettle. So we bought her a new one of these, you know, the modern ones where plastic one, you put it into the little base and the base has got the power. And of course, a classic story. I think every senile aunt has done it. She fills it up, turns the oven on, and puts this kettle on the oven, doesn't she? And completely ruined the oven by melting it all over the place.
Oh,
So yeah, we had to source her out another whistling kettle, because it's the only thing she was used to. I think you get to a point where when your mind starts to go, you really need the older things that you're used to. Sorry, I've got hiccups. Hang on a sec. Right, they're going now. They're gone. Yeah, so obviously you get to a point where you can't really handle new technology, so you just stick with the old technology. It's safer that way. But yeah, bless her. But she had some funny ways. I remember her filling up a bowl of water every night in case she had a fire. So, but I bet she wouldn't have done that if she was on water meters.
no.
I always remember her saying, 'cause when I started smoking, she told me off, and she said, it's too expensive. She says, I gave up smoking when cigarettes reached 20 pence a packet. And I'm like, God, I'd love them to be 20 pence a packet now.
Mm.
So,
Even a pound a packet will do.
yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they
Well,
used to be like 4 or 5 quid, and that was all right. And I mean, a couple of years ago, I went to a Christmas party, and I thought, oh, I'll get some just tailor-mades. I think I ordered some B&H from behind the counter, and he's like, yeah, that's £12.60, please. And I'm like,
are they really that
how
much?
much? Something like that, 11, 12 quid. I was like, what?
Yeah. When I was first smoking, I used to smoke Embassy Number One, and then as cigarettes got too expensive, I switched brands to Lambert and Butler because they were cheaper. And now buy a packet of
Richmond.
cigarettes. Yeah, my brand now is 20 of your cheaper cigarettes, please. That's the brand I ask for.
Is Sterling still the cheapest going?
It depends on the shop. It could be Sterling or it could be Carlton. Some shops do these really weird brands that no one's ever heard of, but at £7.50 or £8.50 a packet, you don't care. So, but I mean, I get mine from friends who have been on holiday. Let's just put it that way. So I end up with all sorts. I was smoking Lucky Strike the other day, and because Love Mini spotted them, and she went, "Oh, they're a rough brand." I'm like, "Yeah, I know they are." So,
saying that, I got some from the airport, and I thought they were right.
oh no, the worst ones I've ever had are Spanish ones. They're like smoking cigars. Oh, God, they're awful. But
I got the blue ones, but they had the little pods in them, so you could change them to menthol if you wanted.
oh yeah, they're great, those ones. But no, but you said something, is it £4 a packet you used to pay for cigarettes?
Yeah, when I was younger.
Yeah, see, now obviously I'm a little bit older than you, but I remember when I was at school, I used to buy 12 Red Band, a box of matches. I started the morning off with £1.50 dinner money. I started by 12 Red Band and a box of matches. Have enough money left over to go down to the chip shop and buy a bag of chips, all for £1.50, and that's made me feel really old. And I know there'll be people watching going, "Oh, like you could do all that with 50 pence." So,
No, the cheapest I remember was Richmond, £3.59, and for Super King, Richmond Super King, and you used to be able to get like a packet of 10 Mayfair or something for like £1.60 something.
yeah.
And they don't do tens anymore.
Yeah, that's a shame,
But
that, isn't
it is
it? So
really.
I used to buy 10 when if I go for a long drive somewhere, I'd buy 10 and just chuck them in the car.
Yeah.
And obviously now I got to buy 20. So anyway, let's talk about better subjects. So right, I am going to end the show there. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for bearing with me in my time of trouble when I've had to run a late show. So we think it's going to be a much bigger issue next week, more than 2 minutes.
Hopefully. Well, I don't know. It depends. If it is a push fit connection, it'll be clip, 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 done.
Yeah,
But we'll have to see.
yeah. So yeah, Roger, nice to meet you too, and nice to meet all of the regulars. Nice to see Stuart Sullivan. Me and you, Stuart, we're going to have another chat on the phone, 5 minute chat, as we had last time. Oh, that was funny. I think we were on the phone for about an hour and a half. So yeah, guys. So I'm going to cut the show now. Then. So yeah. So it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Horlicks.
Yep. See you later, everyone. See you all next week.
Take care, guys. See you Wednesday. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.